What's up, everybody? Welcome to the DuCross Brothers Sports Warriors. Tristan DuCross, Sean DuCross. Welcome to the Warriors Den. In the process of this, what an incredible show we have together for everybody, Sean. Right? We have none other than, which way do you want to start? We got two hot topics that happened yesterday that came out and is now on board for today's show.
It really doesn't matter which way you want to go, Tristan. Probably the hot topic that everybody wants to touch on probably is going to be Conor McGregor. More so than the Bellator discussion, if you will. Because simply Bellator could also segue into the other topics after the break.
This is true.
So it's easy to talk about the Conor McGregor situation. And this one, it's a little bit annoying to me, if you ask me.
Right.
Because this is a guy we've heard, oh, yeah, I'm going to fight Michael Chandler. I'm going to do this. They sign up for the Ultimate Fighter, and it never materializes.
Correct.
Oh, I'm not in the USADA camp or whatever it was at that time. There was an excuse after excuse as to why he wasn't involved in making this fight happen.
Facts.
There was numbers of reasons like, oh, he's making too much money. He's doing a movie, which is also out on Prime, apparently.
Not yet.
Yeah, the 21st. Just released on the 21st.
Of April.
No, of March. So it was one of those things that I was like, I get where his head's at. Like, Dana White said it himself, which was, hey, if you're Conor McGregor and you have all the money in the world, would you fight? I mean, that's a very honest question. If you have that much money, I probably wouldn't fight.
Oh, it comes out tomorrow. I am watching it tomorrow. The 21st is tomorrow, not today.
See, I jumped ahead. but the 21st.
Yes! So I'm good. I'm Gucci.
But you look at all this, it was an honest response from Dana White.
Yes, it was.
So it was like, why would you fight? And he doesn't really need to. But I think he wants to do this for the mere fact that he wants to stay relevant. But whether he stays relevant is, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's an interesting point with Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor is at the point in his career that does he need the money, Sean? No, not really. But why do you think this continues to happen, allowing Conor McGregor to dictate when the fight's going to happen? Enough fighters wait in line for super fights.
He's not dictating anything. That's the thing. He's not here to dictate the situation. He's here to stay relevant. Because if he had it his way, then he would be calling every shot when it's going to happen, when his fight's going to happen. But unfortunately, right now, it's just not relevant. And when you look at Michael Chandler, I don't understand why Michael Chandler at this point is so hot and heavy going after him.
Right.
Because I get that he's a money draw. I get that he's the big fight.
Facts.
But why waste your time and energy when you could go after other fights and get paydays and possibly even go after a title shot? But here you're chasing the big draw. You're chasing the money.
So you're literally putting your whole entire career on hold right now for a possible super fight.
Yeah.
That you don't even know 100% that it's going to happen. Just because somebody says it's going to happen in real time in the summer, Sean, anything can happen between now and then.
Right. And again, he could backpedal right out of this.
Yep.
Because you've seen it. You saw it at the Ultimate Fighter. That's why they did the Ultimate Fighter. Was because it was supposed to end in a title fight.
Correct.
Then a year later, it was supposed to happen again. So you look at it, and it's like, why are we discussing this?
Right.
He's had every reason not to do the fight. He's come up with every excuse as to not be part of this. And then he still has 2 fights left on his deal. He says that he wants to fight Chandler, and then after that he wants to fight Nate Diaz at the Sphere.
Mm-hmm.
And that fight is UFC 303.
So what do you think happens at the end of all this? Are we 100% getting a fight between these two in the summer?
Well, which way do you want me to go?
I want to know your portion. Say the analytics portion, right?
So the analyst in my side.
The analytics portion, not the analysts. The analytics.
So this says that the fight's going to happen.
Okay.
But
so
the fan in me
give me
is
a
not holding my
percentage,
breath.
though. Give me a percentage. I'm curious.
I'm probably going to be 60-40.
Okay.
It's got to be low just because of how many times he's waffled on the idea.
Yes, that makes sense to me. That's fair.
So because you waffled so much, the percentage has to be drastically low, probably in the middle. I'd say 50-50, but again, that's too easy. So I think it's 60-40 that this fight gets done.
Right.
But if you're a fan, you're not holding your breath for this fight to happen.
I don't think the fans should hold their breath at this point because you and I both know that, man, so many things that can happen in the realm of combat sports. So we'll see. I kind of co-sign with you on that 60-40. But another thing is, how many rebirths do we have to have, right? I mean, we have another rebirth, relaunch, rebrand. What do you want to else call it? A new home. Here we go again. More about Bellator's life expectancy at this point.
So when you look at Bellator, and we've been around Bellator for decades. Like, they were one of the few people that gave us an opportunity to cover
a lot of people don't know that is that Bellator, like, they gave us our shot with Rebney and them.
Yeah.
They were the ones that gave us our shot.
And the crew for the media background passes of like dude, they were solid to you and I. And we've been covering them for a minute and been around that game for a minute.
Yeah.
They've gone through multiple different phases of change and adjustments and hoping for the best and everything else like that. And I was confused when it was announced that Bellator was still around. And you're like, what, you didn't know that was part of the deal? And I was like, I guess it slipped my mind a little bit. But when this was announced that Bellator found its home for 2024, that it's going to be on the streaming platform Max, formerly known as HBO Max.
This is true.
My initial thought of this was, wow, this brings me flashbacks of UFC having WEC. Like this is, so like Bellator is the breeding ground for PFL.
So here we are, right? Max, Bellator, the new home, the new rebirth of Bellator champions. Brings me back to the deja vu. Again, that I was looking at this, right? Bellator reminds me a lot of Impact Wrestling, TNA Wrestling.
Yeah, how many times do you have to be
rebrand, new management, new everything, right?
Yeah.
And they're still around. But then I look behind the background a little bit, right? And what is all the hype behind Live Golf? Live Golf is owned by who? Do you know?
Live Golf is owned by the overseas people, if you will.
The Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
The Saudis.
Yes.
PFL is owned by the Saudis. So when I look at behind the scenes, right? And I know that they signed Francis Ngannou, correct?
Yeah.
They get Bellator. They also, I'm starting to try to figure out what their true ultimate game plan is. Because when I started looking at Bellator and I started looking at PFL, right? And I'm going to touch on the Max side first. The Max side is introducing its live sports programming. Who else is doing that?
Netflix. Who already does that?
Prime.
Who already does that?
Hulu.
Do they?
Hulu Sports, live sports.
But ESPN started that trend.
ESPN Plus, yes, that's right. But so everybody wants to start dabbling their foot into that water. Where the issue that comes up is, here's the Saudis have all the money, right? We know the money that they throw out like it's candy to golfers. They did that to Francis Ngannou and praying and hoping that they would get the buzz that they got, right? What did he do for them?
He got them a bigger name because he went off into boxing and created a
Has he fought for PFL?
No.
But yet he's had 2 fights now in boxing?
And
they signed Jake Paul too, right?
Yeah.
Where's Jake Paul? They signed Carissa Shields back. So are you all about the boxing side, or are you about the MMA side? What is your identity? Because you haven't even told us. You've allowed all these other players to go off and do whatever they want, which is cool, right? Applaud them. You want to be boxing? You want to go make money? Go make money. But
so that's where I disagree with you.
You're not doing anything.
Because they do have an identity. They're a tournament-based company. That's their identity.
Yep. Okay.
That's their umbrella. They are an MMA company. Yeah, they went out and got boxers, if you will, or allowed their guys to go do boxing. That's neither here nor there for me. What they did by getting those is dabbling into that area, so that way they have more eyes on the product, more draw. You get Jake Paul, you bring Jake Paul to sign to an MMA contract. Brings you your big credibility to social media. You bring in Francis Ngannou when everybody said he couldn't box. Let him go to do box. That brings more eyes on you. So they're not going.
But how are you bringing eyes if they're not even in?
Because they know they're signed. You know that Francis Ngannou signed with PFL. You know Jake Paul signed with PFL. Everybody knows they're signed with PFL. But if you let them go do X, Y, and Z,
right,
then that brings more eyes. So that's what they're doing. They're hoping. Okay, your example, Tristan, I'll piggyback off of it.
Okay.
They're similar to TNA, right?
Yes.
What has TNA done the last 2 years for the Royal Rumble?
Allow their girl to go into the Royal Rumble for the WWE.
As what?
As their champion.
What does that do?
Get you a little bit more recognition.
Exactly. Ding,
well,
ding, ding.
Yes, well, I get that.
That's what they're doing.
They haven't fought in PFL.
Doesn't matter. You know them from the UFC. You know them from social media. That's enough. That's enough. When you look at Francis Ngannou, you look at his pedigree in the UFC.
But, man, you are paying him so much money to do nothing for you. Except pretend you have the brand behind you. Because you're not showing up inside the cage.
At the moment.
And right now, let's be real. He got knocked out by Anthony Joshua, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Francis Ngannou right now, because now this is on top of my head. You saw what Fiera did to Ryan Bader.
Yeah.
That's a big guy. I don't want Francis Ngannou to step inside the cage now against that guy.
You probably stand a better chance if you're Francis Ngannou inside of a cage than trying to understand boxing and the distance and the movement and the slips and all that stuff. We know boxing ain't easy.
Yes.
So you take that mentality of him learning, but you put him in the confines of a cage with now the improvement of his boxing, because it has improved.
Yes.
Inside of a cage where distance is drastically smaller.
Okay.
Against a guy like Ferreira.
I'll buy that.
He will stand a better chance. That fight's already dotted. When it's going to happen, we don't know yet. But he stands a better chance. But now he's going to bring other people that want to see him back in an MMA cage.
I hope you're right in that aspect. I really do. Because I just don't see this as a long-term play, how this benefits them in a long-term play, until I physically see them step inside the cage.
I think the only one that you have to answer that question or ask that question about is the Jake Paul contract.
Yep. Okay.
But again, that's where my prelude from last week's show is that if Nate Diaz is not signed with the UFC,
yes,
or doesn't sign with the UFC or somehow gets out of his contract, and he gets that fight in PFL, all eyes.
Okay, so because PFL and Bellator are tied 2-2, right?
Yeah.
Here's another question that I attest to you and to our listeners and stuff. Sean, what is your thought about this? So here we have two entities, right? We just had Bellator versus PFL for their Weird Championship, correct?
Yes.
We now have the idea that they are two separate entities to a certain degree.
Yeah, just underneath the same umbrella.
Right. My brother, did you hear that Liz Carmouche is going to the PFL for the season for one of their tournament seasons?
Yeah.
So now not only are we taking champions from Bellator and throw them in a PFL season, how does this bode well for Bellator?
Again,
you're taking champions from them, but in your idea and your mindset is that you could ultimately line this up as a TNA WWE type thing, correct?
Yeah, for sure. Brings more eyes. That's how you stay alive, is how can you bring more eyes to the product? Like I read a comment, I think it was from Luke Thomas, that talked about Bellator. Bellator died on Spike.
Yes.
Bellator died on Paramount.
Bellator died on Showtime.
So here's my rebuttal to that. If they died on all three platforms, right? Why are they still here?
That's exactly what I'm saying, because I heard something similar to that too.
So,
I heard that something similar to that, but it was on another show.
Like you can't use those words that they died on those platforms and then ultimately for them to still be here.
And that's what irks me, bro. Right. That's what irks me. How can you say somebody died or something died if you know damn well they are still putting it on shows? Can you clarify that for me? Because
it would be better off if he would have said that they were not successful on Spike, they were not successful on Paramount, they were not successful on Showtime. Okay, I give you that then, because yeah, they may not have been almighty successful on all three platforms. You're right. But to say they died on those three platforms, excuse you, they're still here.
Yep.
You still know who Bellator is.
100%.
So that would be the more appropriate question.
But again, right? Everybody is so quick to put their own narrative on it rather than actually looking at it for what it is.
Well, I don't think it's necessary.
Are they going to be this juggernaut that everybody thought they could to compete against the UFC? Funny, ironic. Because everybody thought AEW was going to combat against WWE. Funny, ironic, not going to happen. Impact, TNA, funny, didn't happen. I'm sorry. There's,
again, my favorite word.
Yep, go ahead.
There's
levels to this game, yes. Because at the end of the day, we know who's been around long enough, who feeds who's at the top of their game and who is not. So therefore, you can enjoy fighting, you can enjoy watching these promotions, but you know they are not on the level of the UFC. And to ever pinpoint it and think that it was going to happen, because just like today, right, Sean, we were talking about before we both went to work, correct? Is that TKO paid out $335 million to fighters. Do we know the whole entire ins and outs of where that $335 million is going to go to? Not really. Do we know any more about that, about better fighter pay? Nope, not really. All we know is they settled the lawsuit for that. But many people thought
lawsuits. That's what the
Yep,
300.
yep. But many people thought that this was going to be the ultimate downfall. This is it. You get good fighter pay. This is it. This is where we're going to take down the juggernaut because Bellator can start climbing back the ladder. Well, they were bought. PFL can now start climbing the ladder. Nope. You know what TKO did? Just basically left it. You said, here you go. We settled the lawsuit. We're good.
We're going to go about business as usual.
Right.
Just like the WWE. Oh, Vince McMahon's in trouble. We're just going to do business as usual. You're removed.
Yes.
Business as usual. When you are a conglomerate and you are a juggernaut in any type of field, you can do what you want and move mountains and find successful opportunities where it'd be almost the deathbed for certain other companies.
Correct.
So, again, Bellator is doing something right. Whether they're almighty successful or not, they found the loophole. They got bought.
Yes,
they
did.
found the loophole. They're still here. They found a loophole. They found a home. Matter of fact, they're going to be on Max as early as this weekend.
They have Belfast.
But you know what? We'll go to a break and we'll touch on Bellator
Yes,
Belfast
sir.
when we get back.
Incredible start to our show. Hot topics. Love it. It's what we do. We cross that line every Wednesday. I'm Tristan DuCross. That's my brother, Sean DuCross. We are who we say we are. We are the sports warriors in the Warriors' Den. We'll be right back after this. We got Bellator talk. Oh, my God. And we got Mike Tyson. Yo, sit tight, stay put. We'll be right back after this. beautiful people. We are your brothers for the evening. We're the DuCross Brothers. Along my side, as always, my brother Sean. I'm Tristan DuCross. Cross that line. We are the DuCross Brothers. Shout out to our sponsors. I Love Auntie. Go to iloveauntie.com. Save 10% with the DuCross Bros code. And then in the process of doing that, man, you could do wonders by just signing up for ESPN Plus. And you can get a subscription for that as well. In the meantime, Sean, Bellator, Max debut.
March 22nd.
Friday.
That's what you talk about coming up quick. Oh, we signed the deal. Oh, and by the way, it starts effective immediately.
So check this out, Sean. 8 events are set.
Yep. Oh, well, basically what they're doing is taking the 8 that they're already set.
Yes.
And flipping immediately over.
Yes. But, Sean, it's Paris. It's Dublin. It's London. It's Chicago. And San Diego.
Oh, they're coming back to San Diego?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Our boy Lorenz Larkin is probably going to be chopping at the bit to get on that
Oh,
one.
100%.
Want to see you move tickets?
But here's another kicker, dude. So everybody's talking about the Max deal, right?
Yep.
But, my guy, they also have TNT Sports. They will run Bellator content on its new True TV Sports Network.
See, True TV Sports, like
That's another group that has tried to rebrand itself like Spike TV.
like, come on, what are we doing with that?
Yes.
But what's interesting is, like, you start off with Belfast this week, which we'll talk about in a minute. But just talk a little bit more about this deal with Max. It also not only featuring those events, right? They're also going to have Bellator's library.
Yep.
All of it. And they're going to have 2 reality show-ish. Fight Camp Confidential and Fight Week. Then they'll have pre- and post-fight content. Max went all in. So I guess anybody that chooses to doubt what Warner Brothers Discovery is probably going to do with AEW, I think this is
A prelude.
my favorite word right now, the prelude. What's to come. So AEW's probably got a big contract coming with Warner Brothers Discovery regarding their future. And this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. It's like, hey, dude, they signed Bellator.
Right.
It can't be the only thing on the network, on the streaming platform. No, they're going to have to bring more.
It's going to be interesting towards the end of 2024 and into 2025. Because we know the landscape has kind of switched gears in terms of streaming platforms. It's, again, I've heard this from quite a few people is, why do we want to stream? Add another streaming network. Why do I want to pay more money for more ads? It's funny because those people that I keep hearing that are the older generation that I'm starting to hear from. Unfortunately, we all consume everything with our phones, on the run, on the DL, whatever it may be. We all do it at some point.
So can I play the devil's advocate for a second?
Go for it.
Okay. So you brought up an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
People complain about ads, right?
Yeah.
What do you watch on TV?
Commercials.
What are those?
Ads.
Do you complain about watching commercials?
Right?
I just thought about that.
That's what-
Wait, are we really talking about complaining about ads?
Dude, don't get me started because now I'm going to go down a rabbit hole here for a second.
You're not Sean. You can't go down the rabbit hole.
I can go down a little rabbit hole.
Maybe.
Like Slade says, just a little bit. Shine. Every person in this world, we watch TV, we use our phones, there's ads, there's commercials, they're the exact same thing. When you go to a restaurant to bitch and complain, bro, you stand in a damn line there. You stand in a line everywhere. Online, you're in a line. Online, wow, yeah. You don't. Online, you're in a line. Go get a restaurant, you're in a line. Go buy something, guess what? You're in a line. Complaining about how long a line is? Bro, you're in a line all day, every day. Did you not notice that?
Yeah.
You live in a line. Straight line, left line, right line.
And if you're talking about lines, then you could go one step further, too, and talk about that. Well, if you're watching a commercial, you're waiting in line. If you're watching an ad, you're waiting in line. Every way, you're waiting in line.
Yes.
Just different ways of explaining of waiting in line.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get your analogy. It's an interesting one. I don't think everybody else out there in the universe has ever really thought about it until this moment.
And if you did,
makes you think a little bit.
Kudos to you. But here in the Warriors Den, we're not always the same. I'm sorry. Stuff triggers something, we pay attention, and all of a sudden it comes down to oh, wait, yes.
Every day you wait in line.
Yes.
You wait in line for gas.
Yes. So I'm sorry, where we are at with the streaming service, where we're at with Max, I'm sorry, yes. But, hey, I'm stoked because I have it. I have Max.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So guess what this guy's going to do on the 22nd?
Stream on Max.
What?
I don't have to go looking for it? No.
Nope. I'll just pop on Max, and there's going to be Bellator March 22nd, and I'll be watching it for free. For free. I'm sorry, $9.99, and I could get movies, TV shows, and now live sports. I'm Gucci. You heard. This card is not that bad either.
I mean, the main event leaves.
I mean, it could be. It could be a tale of two tales.
It could be better. Like, it could have had Lorenz Larkin on it.
It could have.
But, I mean, every Bellator card
could have Lorenz Larkin on it.
Cheap plug.
Always a cheap plug. But, Shine, you have Patricio Pitbull.
Yes.
Versus Jeremy Kennedy on this card as a co-main event.
Yeah. And I have that one on my notes here too. Is about that card. Is it could be your favorite thing, tale of two sides, because Patricio Pitbull, the last 4 fights have all gone the distance. I have a feeling that if this fight goes the distance, it's going to favor Jeremy Kennedy.
But see, that's exactly what we are, right? Tale of two sides, the yin to our yang. It happens. There's always two sides to a coin flip, isn't there?
Heads or tails.
Patricio Kennedy could either be a barn burner or a snooze fest, or heck, if we pray for Patricio Pitbull, we don't get the guy that got an ugly beatdown by Sergio Pettis and a KO a month later and then said, oh, I hurt my neck. I love when fighters go like, oh, I lost. And you get brutally assaulted inside the cage, and then you want to throw out, well, I got injured. You do realize that is your job to tell people you are hurt so this does not happen. But, so I'm curious, do we get the 100% healthy Pitbull coming into the Kennedy fight? If we do, please, anybody cage side, have a body bag waiting for Kennedy, because this guy is going to get brutalized if Pitbull's 100% healthy.
If he is, but you're talking about a guy who is 36 with 40-plus fights. 40-plus fights.
Mm-hmm.
The wear and tear is ugly right now developing on Patricio Pitbull.
Yo, we have seen quite a few fighters get the long in the tooth past their prime and still think they can get inside that cage, and it is not a good thing.
And that's why I think that if this goes the distance, it's going to be an easy one. Jeremy Kennedy is going to win the boring fight. He's going to hold down Patricio Pitbull, make it uncomfortable, and that's what they're going to do.
Grind him out, get the clinch game going, and do what you need to do to secure the bag. Pitbull, if the 40 fights is not on his body and he could come back in this fight and he goes striking at his pressure, that's it. But I'm telling you, if that bell goes ding, 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 and you don't see the pressure and you don't see the striking from Pitbull, write it off. That fight will end up the distance, like you said. It'll be a boring fight, and it'll be Kennedy's fight. So pay very close attention to the first few seconds of that fight and see which one we are going to get in this fight.
It's just like you look at the main event, and it's Corey Anderson versus Carl Moore for the vacant light heavyweight title that was relinquished by Nemkov. On paper, you're saying, oh, this is an easy fight. Like, this is Corey Anderson's to lose. But then you look at Carl Moore, and Carl Moore is from Belfast.
My God, I disagree with that. I look at Corey Anderson, and I think this is a guy that could have been, and I say could have been, because he's faced washed-up fighters since he came to Bellator, and he's 4-0. I'm looking at his rap sheet. I'm like, dude, you should have beat him. You should have beat him.
And even the last fight that, like, he barely won. In a lot of people's eyes, he should have lost the last fight. And you look at Carl Moore fought mostly in the Ireland area for Cage Warriors. He was their former 205 champion at one point.
Yeah.
Before coming over to Bellator. He's won his last 5. He's fighting in his hometown crowd. Dude's going to be jacked up and giddier than the other side of the pillow. So don't be surprised if he stuns Corey Anderson and walks away with the new 205 title for Bellator.
Did you know that they have 9 weight classes? 9. I was like, dude, how the hell did you get 9 weight classes? I was like, that went underneath the radar, but okay, cool. Go ahead with your bad self there, Bellator. But did you also have Fabian Edwards versus Aaron Jeffrey? Again, that's another fight. That is like, okay, who we getting in this fight? The overrated, overhyped Fabian Edwards? Or are you getting the stallmate in Aaron Jeffrey?
Well, what about James Gallagher?
I mean, Leprechaun is fighting.
So what about that? Like, James Gallagher is fighting, and he hasn't been really that exciting either.
Yep.
He goes to the distance, makes it one of those moments. Like, it could go either way. James Gallagher's on this card, and he could be intriguing as well. This card has potential to stun a lot of fans,
and I hope
and be quality.
And I really do hope that after these last several fights that all 4 of these fighters have, or all 6 of these fighters have had, will lend to one's belief that, hey, it could be a lot better and could serve to improve. But again, we don't know which side we're going to get.
But we know what side we're going to go get. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we'll be right back.
Yes, sir. And we're going to come back with... Did you see Mike Tyson's latest video? We talking about that? We really mentioning that? Then we got wrestling talk. The man, WWE, you finally did something right, and I'm stoked for it. And we'll tell you exactly what that is right after this break. John Cena! we are back, your boys, right here in the Warriors Den. Tristan DuCross, Sean DuCross. Man, what a show we've had for everybody. We had a little bit of a hiccup in the, early on, but no worries. We straightened that out, and we were rocking and rolling and moving forward. And just like that, we move forward to Mike Tyson and his viral videos. We spoke about it last week about what type of fight are we going to get. Well, I think we know now what type of fight Mike Tyson thinks he's getting into.
No, we don't. We still don't. I mean, I've been answering this question for the last week since this was announced. Is what type of fight we're going to get.
Right.
I said it last week, and I'll say it again this week. I have the eerie feeling that it's going to be Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.
That fight was such a train wreck.
It was and it wasn't. It was a train wreck in the sense, Tristan, that he didn't go 100.
No, but that's because they were expedition. It was an expedition fight, and neither one of them wanted to get hurt.
So it'll be interesting. Again, I just want to see if this is going to be pro or expedition, and then it'll kind of narrow it down. But Mike Tyson on day 3 dropped a viral video saying that, "Are you sure you really want to with me?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, if I watch that, no, I don't. No, I don't. I want to tuck my tail and I want to run the other direction. I don't want any part of this Mike Tyson. And then you see Jake Paul go on another social media platform and talk about the Mike Tyson and says that, oh, people think that Mike Tyson is going to kill me or that I'm afraid of him or whatever. And it's like, no, he should be afraid of me. Wait, what? What? I love the confidence on Jake Paul, but have you not watched his videos?
If this is
he looks like an assassin.
Sean, if this is a real fight, even at 57, 58 years old, Mike Tyson would kill you, me, and everybody else around the freaking planet. Yes, he got knocked out in a real boxing fight towards the end of his career, but those were against legit boxers too. Jake Paul. He ain't nothing compared to Mike.
So it's like one of those things that like you're watching and it's like, God, you're 57, Mike Tyson. How are you still moving like that? How are you still slipping like that?
The fact he can still do a peekaboo and the sweeping hook, still to this day, still scares me. Like, even though he is like 5'2", 200 and freaking what, 45 pounds, and I'm exaggerating, so don't get your feelings in a bunch. I'm just saying, that guy still scares me, the fact that he can move laterally like that and peekaboo and hit. I still would not want to get hit with that.
No, not at all.
And Jake Paul get hit with that, he hasn't even felt that kind of power yet.
I was just going to say that. Has Paul been hit by a brick before?
Because that's what Mike Tyson is.
Like, I've never
Not
been
even
hit.
Tyson Fury's brother can hit like Tyson.
I've never been hit by Mike Tyson. I've never seen Mike Tyson land a punch. All I've seen is his videos. All of what I've ever done is watch his boxing fights.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you one thing. I would rather go stand in a boxing ring and try to take a punch from Jake Paul than take a punch from Mike Tyson.
I would too. I was only saying it 3 years ago. Sign me up to face Jake Paul.
Right?
Sign me up. Create a petition online. Sign me up. I will take on Jake Paul. I said that from the beginning, and I'll keep saying it. Sign me up. Sign me up. I'll own that. To get paid $1 million to step inside that and attempt to beat Jake Paul, sign me up.
Quick payday, quick buck. I'll be about that life.
Right?
Instead of letting Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz try to quick and pay a short payday, give it to the little guys. Give it to us. Let's
Dude,
see.
3 years ago, we were talking about putting you and myself inside of a ring with the YouTubers and putting us against the Paul brothers.
Yeah. Even though they're 20 feet taller than us.
I do not care. Nope. Not a little bit.
Just take them out at the knees.
100%. I will go right Mysterio on your ass. I will take you at the kneecaps, bring you down to my hut, and we are good. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I still can't wait to see more. Every single day, Mike Tyson's throwing out a viral clip about him training and practicing. And you got Jake Paul doing the same thing, but a little bit more of a troll job. So good for Jake for trying to troll Mike Tyson, but you're just going to keep pissing him off because the more you keep doing that, the more you keep pissing off Mike Tyson, the more he's going to look at the camera and say, do you really want to fucking do this? Right? I love that when he looked in the camera and said, you really want to fucking do this? Which made me think like, ooh, Mike Tyson think this is real. I hope it is.
And I hope it is too. I hope that fact that we are going to have an honest fight. Mm-hmm. And I guess there was supposed to be a decision made by the Texas Commission.
And there hasn't been one yet.
There hasn't been one.
No, I looked earlier too. Because it will definitely be interesting to see which route they go. But we are waiting patiently to see when the ruling comes out to see what this fight is going to be.
Because as soon as it comes out, you and I will have our honest opinion and our take on it about the final breakdown.
Right here on the DuCross Brothers Sports Warriors. Yeah. But what was very nice, you sent it to me. I was at work. Because we do work a lot. But you sent me a video that took my breath away. And then at first I thought it was Dreadmare. And if you don't know what Dreadmare is, look up YouTube, look up Dreadmare. Then you'll know. Originally, that's what I thought it was. And I was like, holy cow, WWE's allowing this? Let's go. I was jacked. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is not what it is. Not even close. WWE is doing a documentary on the Bray Wyatt Fiend character and Bray Wyatt himself, the immortal Bray Wyatt. When I saw that, and I saw the clip, if you haven't seen the clip, please go to YouTube, WWE, and you can see it for yourself.
It's going to air April 1st.
Gave me chills. I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. Right? You feel that? You feel that? Woohoo! That's them goosies. That's them goosies. Bray Wyatt was such a iconic figure that if you don't follow wrestling, just his sheer presence was an incredible feat. And from everything behind the scenes about the man he was, the husband he was, the father he was, the brother he was, incredible. And so when you lose, so when you lose something like that, it left a void. For the first time, we've always said is that WWE, for these people to spend as much of their life with the program, with the company, the amount of death that has gone through the WWE has been a lot. But they never have really done anything to give back to those wrestlers that put their bodies and their lives on the line every single day, every single freaking minute. They've never done anything. So for them to now take this foot forward to do a documentary about Bray Wyatt and call him immortal, I'm stoked to see this. I can't wait till it drops on Peacock. I will be right there watching it.
It's one of those things that when you look at like what he was doing, the levels at what he was doing at, and the cult following that he developed in his short time in the WWE, and the fans that he captivated, it was one of those moments that you can't take away from a guy like that.
Nope.
And I can see how it gets immortalized because those fireflies are still out there
all the time.
The fact that it's going to be narrated by Undertaker, a.k.a. Mark Calloway, that is cool in itself because he subsequently passed the torch of the dark side to Bray Wyatt. Was one of the last things on TV was that to Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
So have him narrate that is awesome. I have no doubt in my mind this is going to be done very well. Very well. And everybody should be quick to see what it is April 1st.
I'm stoked. I can't wait for it.
I don't watch a lot of docuseries, but there was something about Bray Wyatt that I always enjoyed how he conducted his promos and how he carried himself. It was one of those things like, I like you. I didn't really like the supernatural thing to it, but it was definitely unique. And the fact that also one of the snippets that I had everybody talking about was the outfit and the mask
that he was supposed to wear on his comeback.
I'm interested to see how that is talked about in this docuseries.
And my God, to see Wyndham in there too, his brother, to see even his look and how he has changed, to be in that clip, I just can't. I don't know if I'm going to cry. I don't know if I'm going to cry. But to see this, if you're into docuseries, this is something you all should probably tune in.
For sure.
I don't care if you're a wrestling fan, non-wrestling fan. This is something y'all need to witness. I forgot what the date is. Can you find the date for me?
April 1st on the Peacock, and it's Bray Wyatt becoming immortal.
Amazing.
We were going to talk about a little bit more wrestling, but I just realized time's up. We're done.
We are.
Show's over. Capiche.
Yep.
We'll see you all next week.
Thank you, guys.
Same channel, same bad time. Share us, like us, subscribe us, follow us on all our socials.
They're right here at the bottom.
Send us messages if you want. We'll talk.
Pass the popcorn.
We'll talk about it all day. Show us some love. Love y'all.
One quick thing. Do we make the announcement of where we're going to be April 13th?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Hey, guys, stay tuned for the announcement for where your brothers are going to be on April 13th. Woohoo! We are in this. DuCross Brothers. Cross that line with us every Wednesday. Till next time, we're out.